She was mocked, beaten, rejected, and abandoned. But in her brokenness, God found her and lifted her beyond imagination. This is the true life inspired story of Dimma, the girl who suffered in silence but later married into royalty. What happened will leave you speechless. Don't skip a second. Her miracle may be the encouragement you have been waiting for. Oh yeah, grab your popcorn, sit, enjoy it with your family and friends. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe, like, comment, and share it with everyone. Oh yeah, enjoy yourself. Chidinma, fondly called Dimma by friends and loved ones, was the kind of beauty that turned heads even in the most crowded places. Her skin glowed like early morning sun on river water, and her smile was as warm as the heart in her late father's compound back in Umoji village. Life hadn't been kind to her. Her father died when she was barely 8 years old, leaving behind her widowed mother, Ogoma, and two younger brothers, Lotanna and Kenechi. With no inheritance or real help from extended family, survival became an everyday struggle. Ogoma did everything possible to keep her children fed and clothed, farming during the planting season, roasting corn by the roadside during the dry months, and even washing people's clothes when hunger knocked too hard. She never let her grief show, only her love. Her children were her world. When Dimma completed her secondary education with good grades, it was clear to everyone she deserved more. Her dream was to study mass communication and one day become a TV presenter or run her own talk show. But dreams in the village had a way of fading under the weight of poverty. Determined not to waste away like many girls in the village who ended up early wives or bitter mothers, Dimma begged her mother to let her go to the city. She didn't want to sit and wait for a miracle that might never come. She wanted to learn a skill, fashion designing and hairdressing to be precise. Ogoma wept the night Dimma was to leave for the city. She packed her daughter's clothes with shaky hands and whispered prayers under her breath. She had arranged for Dimma to live with her distant cousin, Auntie Chika, in Onitsha, a woman she hadn't seen in years, but hope was still as kind-hearted as she once knew. Thankfully, Aunt Chika welcomed Dimma warmly and soon helped her get a place at a small but popular training center where she learned both tailoring and hairdressing. Life in the city was not easy, but for the first time in a long while, Dimma felt hope blooming like a flower in the sun. It was during her second year of training that she met Uche. Uche was charming, tall, and very confident. He ran a car accessories business not too far from her workshop. He always came to fix one thing or the other in the area, but it was clear to everyone that he has eyes for Demma. At first, she ignored him. She had come to the city with one purpose, to build a future. But Uche was persistent in a gentle way. He would buy her lunch, help her run errands, and wait patiently outside the salon just to walk her home. Dimma had never experienced that kind of attention. Before long, her heart melted. They started dating. Their love blossomed like something out of a romantic novel. Uche was generous, attentive, and supportive. He encouraged her to push herself harder in her learning and constantly told her she was destined for greatness. He would show up with gifts, fabrics, mannequin heads, salon equipment. It was as if he saw her dream and decided to invest in it. Then came her birthday. Dimma had expected maybe a dress or perfume, but Uche did something beyond her imagination. He surprised her with a fully furnished hairdressing salon in her name. It was a small but beautiful space in a busy area, complete with two dryers, salon chairs, mirrors, a generator, and hair products. It felt like she was dreaming. She fell to her knees and wept, her heart bursting with gratitude. She called her mother, crying, telling her how God had finally remembered them. Uche had been asking her to move in with him for months, and she had always declined. But after that birthday gift, after everything he had done for her, she thought, what else is he waiting for? He loves me and he wants me. Ogoma was hesitant when Dimma told her she planned to move in with Uche, and she said, Nwam, no matter how sweet the mango, taste it well before swallowing. She warned, but Dimma smiled and replied and said, Mama, Uche is not just a mango, he is the whole tree. So she packed her things and moved in with him. At first, it was beautiful, more beautiful than she ever imagined. Their apartment was spacious and clean, always filled with music, laughter, and love. Uche would cook for her sometimes, help her sweep the salon, and even bring her lunch at work. He called her my queen and treated her like royalty. She sent money to her mother regularly, both clothes for her brothers, and finally felt like she was living, not just surviving. The little village girl had now become a proud city woman with her own shop, her own man, and a promising future. But then something happened, something she didn't see coming. It started with little things. Now, when Uche felt that he has finally gotten Demma, his real character was now out. Uche changed completely, becoming aggressive, abusive, and controlling. He collected all the money she made from her salon under the pretense of saving for their future, but used it for himself. He locked up the salon for days, beat her in front of customers, and humiliated her repeatedly. The sting from Uche's slap echoed louder than the salon music that had just been playing moments ago. Everything happened so fast. One moment, Dimma was gently smoothing relaxer into a customer's hair, her gloved hands working with precision and care. The next, she was proud on the floor, her lip bleeding, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. Uche's face was twisted with rage and he said, when I call you, you answer. Do I look like your houseboy? Uche, my hands were, Dema wanted to explain, but before she could finish, his hand met her face again, and this time she fell across the customer's lap. The customer screamed and scattered. Some begged him to stop, others ran out in fear. But Uche didn't care. He shoved chairs aside, yanked open drawers, and flung everything onto the floor like a madman. Then he grabbed the shop keys hanging by the mirror. I built this place with my money, he shouted, and I can burn it down if I want. Rubbish, he said. With that, he locked the salon door from the outside and stormed off, leaving Dimma broken, humiliated, and curled up like a child on the cold tile floor. That evening, she sat quietly outside the locked salon, her eyes swollen, her arms wrapped around herself. Tears had dried into salty tracks, and her entire body ached, but none of the pain matched what she felt inside. But that day changed something in her. When she returned home, Uche was waiting and he said, so you want to make me a laughing stock, Abi? He backed. She didn't answer and he continued, you think I don't know you enjoy men touching you in that salon? Dimma raised her eyes slowly and said, what? And he continued, you heard me. All those male customers coming to your shop. You think I am stupid. It hit her then. This wasn't stress. This wasn't temporary. But this was who Uche truly was. She had given him everything, her love, her loyalty, her business, even her dignity. And in return, he gave her pain. Still, she stayed because she had nowhere else to go. Her poor widowed mother was in the village, struggling. Her only two younger brothers were apprenticed, struggling far away in another state. Auntie Chika was against her coming to live with Uche, and she warned her not to come back to her if anything happened. And now she had no savings. Everything she ever earned had gone into Uche's pockets, but the abuse continued. Uche became even more controlling. He seized her phone and restricted her calls. He accused her of sleeping with any man who looked at her. He locked up the salon more frequently, sometimes for a whole week, and gave excuses like, "You need to learn humility." She barely ate. Her body grew frail, her eyes hollow. Then came the day that nearly ended her completely. Uche stormed into the saloon again, angry because she had been calling Dimma on phone, but Dimma did not respond because she was very busy with customers. Uche's slap landed so hard on Dimma's cheek that even the comb in her hand fell to the floor. The customers screamed in horror as he began shouting, kicking tables, and yanking the plug off the wall and said, "You know the hear word again, Abi? I dey call you, and you dey form busy?" He barked, eyes wide with fury. But Uche, my hands were covered in relaxer. Demma tried to explain, but Uche slapped her again and said, "Shut up." Then he turned to the customers and shouted, "Everybody, out! Out of here before I scatter this place." Confused and frightened, some women grabbed their bags, their hair half finished. Others, who had relaxers still burning on their scalps, began crying, saying, "Madam, my hair is on fire. Oh, please now, at least let her wash my hair first." Uche didn't care. He picked up a plastic chair and flung it across the road. The sound alone was enough to send everyone scrambling out. When he finished his madness, he dragged the shop keys from Dimma's purse, locked the salon, and walked away like a conqueror, leaving behind a bruised, humiliated, and confused Dimma. But what he didn't know was that his wickedness that day would become the beginning of Dimma's breakthrough. Outside, one woman remained behind, an elegant woman in her late 50s with a warm but firm presence. She had come to relax her hair and was seated patiently when the chaos began. Her name was Madame Lizzie, popularly known as Mama Obienna. As Dimma stood there trembling, her face swollen, the woman walked quietly to her and said, "Dimma," she said softly, "do you have water and buckets anywhere around?" Dimma nodded numbly, and the woman continued, "Then go and borrow. Go and borrow them. We must wash off these chemicals from these women's hair before they lose their scalp." With tears in her eyes and shaky hands, Dimma rushed to her neighbor's compound, borrowed buckets, and fetched water. She set up stools under the small mango tree beside the shop and began washing the relaxer off the heads of her stranded customers, one after the other, using her bare hands, even though they were already burnt from the chemical. Some of the customers were crying, not from the relaxer, but from seeing what this young woman was enduring. When she finished, Madame Lizzie pulled her aside gently and asked in a quiet voice and said, "How long has this been happening?" Dimma broke down. She sobbed like a child. She told her everything, from how Uche changed after she moved in with him, how he beat her, locked up the shop anytime he liked, took all her money, and used her like a slave. She told her how her aunt had warned her not to return if anything went wrong, and now she had nowhere to go. Mamu Binna's face grew hard and she said, "You mean you are staying with him and he treats you like this? And no one is helping you?" Dimma nodded slowly. wiping tears with her elbow and said, I don't have anywhere to go, Mama. I'm trapped. Not anymore, the woman said firmly. You are coming with me today. I can't leave you here. Dimma looked up, shocked, and said, Mama, you don't even know me. I know enough. I know you are hardworking. I saw how you still managed to wash their hair with your wounds and tears. That tells me everything I need to know about you. Come, God is rewriting your story today, the woman told her. And that was how Demma left everything behind, her broken salon, her pain, her shame, and followed Mama Ubina to a new life. From the very first day Dimma stepped into Mama Obinna's mansion, her life began to shift in ways she never imagined. It was like she had entered a new world, a place where peace lived, where voices didn't rise in rage, where the walls echoed with laughter, not bruises. The house was massive, tall gates, shining tiles, golden railings. The compound alone could contain 4 salons. Mama Obinna's husband, Chief Okechukwu, was a well-known oil magnate and real estate developer. Their children were scattered around the world. Doctors in Canada, engineers in the UK. One daughter was married to a senator, and 2 sons ran logistic businesses in Lagos. At first, Dimma felt like a stranger in a palace, unsure where to step, how to sit. But the Mama Obinna's family welcomed her with warm arms and smiling hearts. Within days, she became like a daughter to Mama Obinna. As soon they saw what Mama had seen, a humble, respectful, very hardworking girl who only needed a chance. It was Mama Obinna who came up with the idea. Dimma, my dear, she said one evening as they relaxed on the veranda, will help you start your life again. You've served others with your hands. Now it's time your hands serve you, she told her. Demma's eyes filled with tears and she said, Mama, I don't even know what to say. Then, don't say anything yet. Just start thinking of where you want your new salon to be, she told her. Dimma was still recovering from the wounds Uche left behind, but the fire in her was slowly coming back. Within 3 days, she went scouting. She found 3 shops, one small but cheap, one decent and moderate, and the third, large, luxurious, well located, but very expensive. When she returned to tell Mama Obinna, she quietly recommended the second one, but Mama shook her head and said, Take the third one, my child. Mama, but it's expensive. And so what? You deserve it. It's spacious, well situated, and will attract the kind of customers you deserve. We will pay for it and furnish it. You will not enter this new season small, my dear, she told her. Tears rolled down Denmark's cheeks again, but this time they were tears of joy. Within a week, Denmark's church luxury salon was born painted in peach and gold, with sparkling mirrors, plush customer chairs, dryers, LED lights, wall art, air conditioning, and even a nail bar and mini spa. They also employed 2 girls to work with her, and Mama Obinna used her network to spread the word around town. In just 2 months, Dimma became the talk of the town. Her customers doubled, then tripled. She started making good money. And what did she do first? She sent money home to her mother, to her younger ones in school, to a cousin who had once fed her. Then she began something that surprised even Mama Obinna. She started building a house. Back home, their house was an old mud structure with leaking roofs and dusty floors. But with help and support from Mama Obinna and her husband, Demma built a modern, beautiful bungalow in her father's compound. Tiled floors, aluminium roofing, a borehole, and a small garden in front. The villagers couldn't believe it. And they started whispering around, saying, "Is that not Dimma, the girl that was suffering with that boy in the city?" And the another said, "She don't build house, so God do." But this was just the beginning. Dimma's story had changed, yes, but destiny had even more in store. Life had finally given Dimma a second chance, and she wasn't wasting it. With Mama Obinna and her powerful family behind her, she walked into the gates of a prestigious polytechnic like royalty. She didn't just return to school, she walked in with pride as a survivor who had fought through darkness and found her light. She was focused, determined, and more confident. During the week, she was a student, but every weekend she returned to Mama Obinna's mansion like a daughter coming home. From there, she checked on her salon, now thriving even more. Thanks to the new stylist she hired, a soft-spoken girl named Ijoma who was skilled and honest. Everything was finally aligning. But what Dimma didn't know was that her glory had started tormenting someone else, Uche. The same man who once beat her, locked up her salon, and called her names, now heard whispers of her name on the streets, on WhatsApp status, even among his old friends, saying, "Dat girl wey Uche dey maltreat, she don blow o." Another said, "Her new saloon fine pass some people hotel o." And then the other said, "She even dey go school now. Dat girl try abeg." Uche could not believe it. It stung like acid. In his mind, Demma was a property, a girl he made. He believed she had no right to rise without him, no right to laugh, no right to win. So he started calling her every few days and said, "You think say you go run from me and succeed? You forget say na me carry you come this Lagos? You dey school now, dey feel big abi? Na me go bring you down if you no come back to me." Dimma ignored him, but that only made him more vicious. One evening, she received a call from an unknown number. She picked it, and the voice that came through chilled her blood and said, "So you think you can throw my brother away and enjoy peace, Abi?" It was Tonia, Uche's elder sister, a woman known for her sharp tongue and even sharper temper. "Tonia, please don't call this number again," Dimma told her. But Tonia didn't let her finish and said, "You think you are smart, eh, Dimma? You think life would just allow you to walk away? If you don't return to my brother, I swear we will go diabolic. We will finish you. You will smell madness. You will regret being born if you don't go back to my brother," she told her. Dimma's hands began to shake, but she didn't cry, not this time. She simply ended the call and blocked the number. But that night, she didn't sleep well. The next day, she went to Mama Obinna and told her everything. Mama listened without interrupting, her hands calmly folded. When Dimma finished, Mama smiled slightly and said, "My dear, when a dog starts barking at a lion, it's not courage, it's madness. They are barking because they see you've become more than what they expected. But don't worry, I didn't pick you from the gutter to allow anyone throw you back there." She stood up and called her husband. By evening, Chief Okechukwu had made two phone calls, one to his friend in the police force and another to his lawyer. Within 48 hours, Uche received a cease and desist letter. Antonia, she was summoned by the local police station for harassment. But this only fueled Uche's rage, and unknown to anyone, he was already planning something more dangerous, something that would shake Dimma's life in a way no one expected. Uche had lost everything: his pride, his control, his reputation, and now rage and desperation consumed him. He couldn't accept that Dimma had slipped from his grip and was now flourishing. He had tried threats, calls, and even using his sister Tonia to intimidate her, but nothing worked. Dimma was protected now, not just by powerful people, but by something greater, her newfound strength. So Uche decided to take matters into his own hands. One evening, sitting in a dingy bar with two of his street boys, he slammed a bottle on the table and muttered and said, "We go carry her. Just small time. She go know say nobody fit run from me." His plan was simple but deadly: to kidnap Dimma, hold her somewhere secret, and force her to beg for mercy. Maybe then she will return to him. Maybe then he could teach her a lesson about who truly owned her. But what Uche didn't know was that his foolishness had made him careless. One of the men he trusted, Chuka, overheard everything, and Chuka's sister happened to work in Mama Obinna's mansion as a cook. That night, the news leaked. Chuka, who had a soft spot for Demma after seeing how much she had suffered, whispered to his sister, saying, "Tell that rich woman where they take care of Demma. Her girl Demma dey in danger o." The next morning, Dimma rushed to Mama Obinna, shaking. "Mama, they want to kidnap me," she told her. Mama Obinna's face darkened. She wasted no time. She called her husband immediately and informed him. Then Chief Okechukwu, a man who rarely raised his voice, simply picked up his phone and dialed his contacts in the police force and said, "I need a man taken care of legally, please." By evening, Uche's house was surrounded by officers. They arrested him on the spot. His boys scattered like rats. The next day, Dimma pressed charges: attempted kidnapping, abuse, harassment, threat to life. Uche was dragged to court, wearing the same arrogant expression, but this time it was mixed with fear. In the court, Uche's family was desperate to save him. His parents hired a top lawyer, and his sister Tonia, who had been silent since the police summoned her, cried in the courtroom, begging for mercy. Their lawyer pleaded with the judge and said, "Your Honor, my client acted act of love, not malice. He was hurt. He regrets everything. He is a changed man." But Dimma's lawyer, a sharp, fearless woman named Barrister Amaka, wasn't having it. And she said, "Love?" She scoffed and continued, "Love does not beat a woman. Love does not seize her business, steal her money, and try to destroy her. My client suffered under this man for years, and now he wants to walk away free? Your Honor, this is not love. This is madness." The judge looked at Uche, then at the evidence, the phone records, the police reports, the testimonies from saloon customers. It was clear Uche was guilty. The only reason he wasn't thrown into jail was because Mama Obinna's family, being highly respected, agreed to a different punishment. That if Uche wanted freedom, he had to sign an undertaking agreeing that he would: 1. Never come near Dimma for life; 2. Never contact her, threaten her, or attempt to see her again; 3. Face immediate imprisonment if he ever violated the terms. With no choice left, Uche signed the document with trembling hands. The case was closed. For the first time in years, Dimma was free, or so she thought, because something was about to happen. And this time, it was something no one saw coming. After all the battles, heartbreaks, betrayals, and trials, peace finally settled like morning dew on Denmark's life. She had rebuilt herself from ashes, found her voice, her strength, and her purpose, and now she was walking boldly into her destiny. It was Christmas, the season of laughter, music, and homecomings. Mama Obinna's home was alive with guests and the aroma of delicious dishes. The compound glowed with twinkling lights, and distant drums echoed from a nearby village square. That was when Obinna, one of Madame Lizzie's sons, who had been abroad for years, arrived home. He stepped into the compound, tall, confident, and full of life. He was greeted with joy by everyone, especially Mama Obinna, who hugged him like a long lost treasure. Then it happened. He saw Dimma standing by the flower bed in her simple Ankara gown, her head slightly tilted as she laughed with one of her younger cousins. Then time froze. Obinna couldn't take his eyes off her. Who is that? He asked his mother softly. Mama Obinna smiled, her heart swelling with pride, and she said, "That is Dimma, the girl we told you about, the one God lifted." From that moment, Obinna's heart was captured. He didn't waste time. Within days, he found the courage to approach her, and he said, "I know this is sudden, but I want to get to know you better, Demma. I've never seen anyone carry so much grace despite all she's been through." Dimma was shy at first. Her heart had long been bruised, and she wasn't sure she could ever trust again. But there was something about Obinna, his humility, his kindness, and the way he looked at her, not as a victim, but as a woman of worth. With time, they grew close. Obinna didn't just love her, he honored her. He spoke with Mama Obinna, then traveled to see Dimma's mother in the village. The meeting was emotional. Ogoma, Dimma's mother, wept tears of joy as she blessed them both. The traditional marriage was grand. The church wedding was like a royal celebration. People from far and near came to witness how God had turned Dimma's story around. Obinna later took Dimma with him abroad, where they settled beautifully. But he didn't stop there. To show his gratitude, he bought a mansion for Demma's mother, not far from the salon Mama Obinna had built for Demma. There, Ogoma now lived like a queen, respected and admired by all. The salon continued thriving, managed by a loyal team that gave weekly reports to Ogoma, ensuring that Demma's legacy was intact. And as for her younger brothers, Lotana and Kenechi, they have both finished their apprenticeships. Lotana opened a flourishing electronics store in the city, while Kelechi started a logistic company that quickly grew, even receiving contracts from abroad. From pain to peace, from disgrace to honor, from shame to shining, Dimma and Obinna lived happily ever after, not without life's ups and downs, but with a foundation of true love, trust, and divine favor. Thanks for watching. This is where our story ends. But before we conclude it, let's look into our moral lessons. God lifts the humble. No matter how low life pushes you, God can lift you higher than anyone imagined, just like He did for them. Pain is not the end. Sometimes God allows us to walk through fire, not to burn us, but to refine us for a greater future. Divine helpers are real. God will always send the right people at the right time. People like Mama Obinna, who are destiny helpers, not destroyers. Character speaks louder than circumstances. Dimma's humility, hard work, and honesty open doors even her tears couldn't. Let go and let God. When Uche tried to come back, Dimma chose peace over pain, and God honored her decision with a godly husband and a transformed life. Your past does not disqualify your future. What you went through does not cancel what God has planned for you. Family is not always blood. Sometimes strangers will support you more than your own people because God chooses family by purpose, not just by blood. In conclusion, no matter what life throws at you, as long as you don't give up, your light will surely shine. What God has destined for you, no man can destroy it. This concludes our story. Thank you once again for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share, and also touch the bell button so that you will be notified each time we put out new video. Subscribe for more stories with powerful life lessons. Please and please subscribe to help us grow our channel. And please don't forget to leave your comments, your questions, your suggestions in the comment section, and we'll come back to deal with it. God bless you all as you do so. Love you. Bye bye. Mwah.